जय माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी। यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुनातीरवनचारी। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जयो प्रभुपदा 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 श्रील प्रभुपदा। जय गुरुदेवा 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 श्रील गुरुदेवा। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल 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 हरि बोल। हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धश्च ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सागणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सागणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nastapráyeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttamaśloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha Nandagopa kumaraya govindaya namo namaha Namah pankajanabhaya namah pankajamalini Namah pankajanetraya namaste pankajangre Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha Namo Brahmanyaya Devaya Gau Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavati Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Karoti Vachalam, Pangam Langaite Girim, Yat Kupatam Maham Bande, Shri Guru Dinataranam, Shri Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram, Om Pavitro Pavitro Va Sarva Avastam Gato Piva, Yasmaret Pundari Kaksham Sapya Yambyam Taram Suchi, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Hare Krishna, Prabhujan Matajis. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Just a minute. Thank you all joining for this wonderful Bhagavatam reading today. Rather, I will call it as a Bhagavatam reading than Bhagavatam class. Right? I don't know if I can really talk about Bhagavatam, but yeah, let's read Prabhupada purports. Right? So, and today, tomorrow, and day after, 3 days, we have triple Banonza for us. Right? Today is Ekadashi, most auspicious day. Tomorrow evening, we have a special satsang on Nityananda Katha. I'm very, very excited for tomorrow evening. And day after tomorrow, obviously, it's Nityananda Trayodashi. Right? The mercy of Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is only possible through Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Right? So,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. One other thing is today is, tomorrow is Vamana Dwadashi also.
Hari Bol.
So actually people can fast today till 12 o'clock for that Vamana Dwadashi. I forgot to put in the group. So today is Ekadashi, anyway we are fasting. But if you are having Ekadashi Prasad, if you have it after 12, you are also fasting for Vamana Dwadashi in advance.
Vamana Dwadashi. Sure, sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Correct.
Hare Krishna. Dandavata.
So, yeah. So the triple Banonza for all of us, all the devotees, 3 days. We are excited for Nityananda Katha tomorrow and day after as well. So let's all utilize this time productively and dwell in the spiritual world. Right? Hare Krishna. So let's start today's session. So before that, I would like to offer my humble obeisances to all of you. Subbara Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandavad Prabhu. Thank you very much for hosting the...
Sorry, I'm just only hosting, nothing else.
Very well, very well. Thank you, Prabhu. Akshara Mataji, I think that's Pratibha Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining. Deepa Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for joining, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Karuna Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for joining.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Dandavat Pranam, Dandavat Pranam. Katyani Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you
Hare
for
Krishna,
joining.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Lilananda Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. You have taken time to join in your busy schedule. I know you must be having class now. Thanks for joining, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Madhusudan Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for
Hare
joining.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Murlidhar Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you for
Hare
joining.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams.
Padma Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for joining.
Pranam, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Pallavi Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thanks for joining, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Praveen Prabhu, Hari Bol. Thank you. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Please forgive me if I talk anything wrong.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You're speaking Bhagavatam, but everything will be auspicious.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Raghavendra Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Sandhya Mataji, Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Sanjay Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Santosh Aditya Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Shri Gopal Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for joining, Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Shri Giriraj Prabhu joining from US. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Hallelujah, Srila Prabhupada.
Please bless that the class should go on well. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Swapna Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for joining.
Hare Krishna.
Nela Mataji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for joining. Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
So let me share. I've just shared my screen, Prabhuji and Mataji's. Let me know if you're able to see this.
Yes, Prabhu, we can see.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji and Mataji's, today we are going to read chapter 8 from Canto 8. And I was asked to read from verse 1 to verse 16. The chapter 8, Prabhuji and Mataji's, it's about Lord Narasimhadev appearance, and ultimately, after a lot of discussion between and a lot of pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj, right? Ultimately, this is the time where all of us have been waiting, and how the Supreme Lord appears, right? And slays the king of demons, the Hiranyakashipu, right? This entire, in last couple of chapters, we have been discussing about the complete pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj. So this chapter brings that to an end, right? So the whole chapter discusses about that. But today we are going to discuss only from verse 1 to 16, where the suspense will continue in the next class, right? So today we will discuss only till how the appearance of Narasimhadev actually started. It's not even Narasimhadev appeared, right? This is till the 16th verse does not talk about, okay, Narasimhadev appeared. No. What are the pre-aspects of appearance? Like, the sounds, right? All those things, the lights, how Hiranyakashipu observed and experienced all those things, right? And he was sure that his death is inevitable. One of the purports, one of the translations, it says that Hiranyakashipu understood that his death is inevitable. There's no choice. But only thing is, he did not give up, right? He fought back, right? So that's what that we will see probably in the starting of the next chapter. But this chapter, we will see the pre-aspects of what happened, what led to the appearance of the Supreme Lord, and what is the discussion between the son and the father, who is Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu, right? What went to that extent where Hiranyakashipu decided to kill Prahlad Maharaj, right? We all know that we have been discussing in last few chapters that the single point of agenda for Hiranyakashipu is to kill Prahlad Maharaj, right? But due to the mercy of Supreme Lord, he is not able to do anything to him, right? That's the protection of the Supreme Lord, right? So many ways that he tried to kill his own son, so many multiple ways that he tried, but he was not successful, right? Now, after so many attempts, he tries to kill his son with his own hands, right? So that's what this chapter. So we'll quickly glance it through, right? I have just given this is the introduction about this chapter, what happens. But let's go into that. So this chapter starts with Sanda and Amarka, right? Who are the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj. All of us know that they ultimately understands that Prahlad Maharaj is a super servant, or a pure devotee of Supreme Lord, and because of his association, right? All the other students in the Gurukul are also getting influenced, right? So that means as far as they are concerned, who Sanda and Amarka are concerned, they are also following the wrong path, right? That's the power of association, right? Prahlad Maharaj is so influential, the way he preaches, right? That most of the kids in the Gurukul are being inspired by his teachings, inspired by his preaching methodology, right? And they are converting into devotees. They're converting into Vaishnavas. They started worshipping the Supreme Lord. And Sanda and Amarka thought that this is a high time for them, because they're not able to control him and things are going out of their hand, right? And if they don't go and inform Hiranyakashipu about this, there is a high possibility that there will be a threat for their own lives, right? Therefore, they went and informed them. So that's what this chapter starts with. So let's go. Text 1. I will read this verse and translation. And from next verse, probably we'll all read one by one. Shri Narada Uvacha Atadhaitya Sutaha Sarve Shrutva Tad Anuvaritham Jagruhur Niravatyetvam Naiva Gurva Anushikshitam. Translation. Narada Muni continued, all the sons of demons appreciated the transcendental instructions of Prahlad Maharaj and took them very seriously. They rejected the materialistic instructions given by their teachers, Sanda and Amarka. Imagine Prabhuji and Mataji is a 5-year-old boy. He is preaching so well that all his friends in the Gurukul, they rejected all the materialistic instructions, right? And they're taking him so seriously and is following Prahlad Maharaj's instructions. Purport, by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. This is the effect of a preaching of a pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. If a devotee is qualified, sincere and serious about Krishna consciousness, and if he follows the instructions of a bona fide spiritual master, as Prahlad Maharaja did when preaching the instructions he had received from Narada Muni, his preaching is effective, as it is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 25th chapter, 25th sloka. Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti hrit karna rasayanaha kataha. If one tries to understand the discourses given by the Sat or pure devotees, those instructions will be pleasing to hear and appealing to the heart. Thus, if one is inspired to take Krishna consciousness, and if one practices the process in his life, he is surely successful in returning home back to Godhead. By the grace of Prahlad Maharaj, all his class friends, the sons of demons, became Vaishnavas. They did not like hearing from their so-called teachers Sanda and Amarka, who were interested only in teaching them about diplomacy, politics, economic development, and similar topics meant exclusive for sense gratification. Hare Krishna. A pure devotee in his purport talking about another pure devotee here, right? We have seen what is the kind of impact His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada could create, right? By traveling alone with just few books, Bhagavatam in one box and few clothes in another box, alone at the age of about 67, right? All the way to US, right? With the only hope that Krishna has brought him to US for some reason. There is a particular reason why Krishna has to. And he said, Krishna, I am okay. Do whatever you want, however you want. If I could be an instrument for you, let it be so, right? That confidence, that trust for him in Krishna, today what ISKCON is all about, right? One person, an old man, basically, right? Typically at that age, right? Everybody wants to stay back at home, don't go anywhere, right? But this one pure devotee has done so much. And he inspired so many people, right? Who are, I don't know, I mean, we're talking about several segments of devotees in US, right? And today we are seeing who are them. His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Indradumna Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj, right? So many, I'm just naming few exalted devotees, right? Pure devotees, but so many, right? And that was possible because Srila Prabhupada was able to take the instruction of his Guru Maharaj so seriously, right? 40 years back, when he met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, at the first instruction, he told, you should go and preach in the West, right? And that is rooted at a very deep level to Srila Prabhupada. Even after 40 years, he never forgot. And he always regretted, why did I waste 40 years in following the instruction of my Guru Maharaj, right? His Guru Maharaj is not there, right? Hardly Prabhupada had any instruction with interaction with his Guru Maharaj. But the instruction was so clear to Srila Prabhupada that he did not forget it, right? He's taken it so seriously. And that is the result what Prabhupada could do in spreading Krishna consciousness across the world. Prabhuji and Matajis, we have live examples what we see today of this particular scenario, right? Prahlad Maharaj influencing his friends. Yes, of course, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. But more than that, we see the live examples of what Srila Prabhupada has done and what Srila Prabhupada devotees, his followers are doing, his disciples are doing at this point of time, right? All the great Maharajas, the way they are spreading Krishna consciousness, even when their health, their body are not supporting them. His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, right? The level of austerity they take to spread the Krishna consciousness and support the mission of Srila Prabhupada, their Guru Maharaj, it's, there are no words. And we are seeing the next level disciples. His Grace Radhesham Prabhu, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, who just came and helped all of us and went back, right? His Grace Gaurang Prabhu, His Grace Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, so many who has taken the instruction of their Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, so seriously, and wonderful preaching activities they are doing and influencing, inspiring thousands and lakhs of devotees across the world, right? That is what happens when somebody takes the Guru Maharaj word seriously. Obviously, the preaching activity will become so sincere for them, right? Krishna says, I am there, you don't worry, right? He says, whatever you're doing is coming from me, right? In Bhagavad Gita, I will give you that light to understand what you're doing, right? It's not that we are speaking it. Krishna is speaking through us. Hare Krishna. Second shloka, one of you want to read this?
Can I do, Prabhuji?
Yes, it's translation.
Santosh Aditya Prabhu, will you do?
Please continue.
Okay. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya, observed that all the students, the sons of the demons, were becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness because of the association of Prahlad Maharaj, they were afraid. They approached the king of the demons and described the situation as it was. Perfect. The words Buddhim Ekanta Samsthitam indicate that as an effect of Prahlad Maharaj's preaching, the students who listened to him became fixed in the conclusion that Krishna consciousness is the only object of human life. The fact is that anyone who associates with a pure devotee and follows his instructions become fixed in Krishna consciousness and is not disturbed by materialistic consciousness. The teachers particularly observed this in their students, and therefore they were afraid because the whole community of students were gradually becoming Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So continuation to the previous verse, Prabhupada explains in this purport what happens if somebody sincerely preaches, right? So Prabhuji and Mataji's, one thing what we need to understand is whatever anybody is preaching, it's all what we are repeating, whatever Guru Maharaj's instructions are, right? And whatever we are talking, sitting on the Vyasasana is not something that we are talking, but it's something Krishna is talking through us, because he is the one who's giving us his knowledge, right? Tesham tata yuktanam bhajantam priti purvakam tadhami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. He'll say, I am giving you, I will give you that buddhi through which you can come to me, right? So wonderful, it's everything. Everything comes from Krishna to us. Whatever we are talking, whatever buddhi we have, whatever intelligence we have, it's all coming from him, right? All we need to do is simply follow the instructions of Guru Maharaj and just repeat what they are saying. Hare Krishna. Yeah, 3 and 4 translations. One of you can read this. Hare Krishna.
Can I do, Prabhu?
Yes, yes, please, Prabhu.
When Hiranyakashipu understood the entire situation, he was extremely angry, so much so that his body trembled. Thus, he finally decided to kill his son Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu was by nature very cruel, and feeling insulted, he began hissing like a snake trampled upon by someone's foot. His son Prahlada was peaceful, mild, and gentle. His senses were under control, and he stood before Hiranyakashipu with folded hands. According to Prahlada's age and behavior, he was not to be chastised. Yet, with staring, crooked eyes, Hiranyakashipu rebuked him with the following harsh words. When one is impudent toward a highly authorized devotee, one is punished by the laws of nature. The duration of his life is diminished, and he loses the blessings of superior persons and the results of pious activities. Hiranyakashipu, for example, has achieved such great power in the material world that he could subdue practically all the planetary systems in the universe, including the heavenly planets, Svargaloka. Yet now, because of his mistreatment of such a Vaishnava as Prahlad Maharaj, all the results of his tapasya diminished, as stated in 10.4.46. When one mistreats great souls, his lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possession, and good fortune are all destroyed.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji and Mataji, look at this, right? Hiranyakashipu was not an ordinary demon, right? Not at all. His one raise of an eyebrow, even the great demigods like Indra, right? Varuna, Vayu, they used to run away. They can't even come in front of him. That's the power of Hiranyakashipu. He's not an ordinary demon, right? Not like any other ordinary demon that can be killed, who can be killed, right? Very, very powerful demon, right? And that kind of demon, right? Who was actually putting the entire manifestation, right? Under his control with his behavior, rude behavior, that too. Talking to a small boy, right? Who is just 5 years old in this way, right? Imagine what would have been the situation of Prahlad Maharaj. But as per this translation, right? Prahlad Maharaj was unshaken, right? He was not bewildered at all. He was standing still with folded hands, very, very balanced, right? As Krishna explains in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita about Sthita Prajna. This is what the behavior of a Sthita Prajna, right? He's not bewildered. He's not shaken in any of the situation, right? Bhagavad Gita gives us an example of the fire which comes from a diya, right? Whenever there is no air, it stands still like that, right? But when it's an air, it will move all over. So Prahlad Maharaj was exactly standing like that, right? That's the perfect example of Sthita Prajna. And of course, about this 10th canto, 4th chapter, 46th shloka, when one mistreats great souls, his lifespan, opulence, reputation, religion, possessions, and good fortune are all destroyed, right? We see that as examples as well. There are a lot of so-called, big politicians or famous people, right, who insulted the sannyasis, who insulted the religious people, or probably, any of the yajnas, homas, religious activity. We see that, right? How they eventually struggle, right? How they eventually struggle, and how they leave their body, how they die, right? It is definitely not an auspicious death for them, right? So therefore, whatever Srimad Bhagavatam says, it's a spotless Purana. Nothing goes in vain, right? Everything is right. Just that it might need some time for karma to be into effect, but that will definitely happen. Shloka 5 translation. Can anyone read this, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
And from so translation purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hiranyakashipu said, "O most impudent, most unintelligent disruptor of the family, O lowest of mankind, you have violated my power to rule you, and therefore you are an obstinate fool. Today I shall send you to the place of Yamaraja." Purport. Hiranyakashipu condemned his Vaishnava son Prahlada for being Durvinita, ungentle, uncivilized, or impudent. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, however, has derived a meaning from this word Durvinita by the mercy of the goddess of learning, Saraswati. He says that Du refers to this material world. This is confirmed by Lord Krishna in his instruction in Bhagavad Gita that this material world is Dukkhalayam, full of material conditions. Vi means Vishesha, specifically, and Nita means brought in. By the mercy of the Supreme Lord, Prahlada Maharaja was especially brought to this material world to teach people how to get out of the material condition. Lord Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. When the entire population or part of it becomes forgetful of its own duty, Krishna comes. When Krishna is not present, the devotee is present. But the mission is the same, to free the poor conditioned souls from the clutches of Maya that chastises them. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura further explains that the word Mandatman means Manda, very bad or very slow in spiritual realization. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya. Prahlada Maharaj is the guide of all the Mandas, or bad living entities who are under the influence of Maya. He is the benefactor even of the slow and bad living entities in this material world. Kula Bheda Karadhama. By his actions, Prahlada Maharaja made great personalities who established big families seem insignificant. Everyone is interested in his own family and in making his dynasty famous. But Prahlada Maharaja was so liberal that he made no distinction between one living entity and another. Therefore, he was greater than the great Prajapatis who established their dynasties. The word stabdam means obstinate. A pure devotee does not care for the instructions of the asuras. When they give instructions, he remains silent. A devotee cares about the instructions of Krishna, not those of demons or non-devotees. He does not give any respect to a demon, even though the demon be his father. Machasanodvrittam, Prahlada Maharaja was disobedient to the orders of his demoniac father, Yamakshayam. Every conditioned soul is under the control of Yamaraja. But Hiranyakashipu said that he considered Prahlada Maharaja as a deliverer, for Prahlada would stop Hiranyakashipu's reputation of birth and death, because Prahlada Maharaja, is being a great devotee, was better than any yogi. Hiranyakashipu was to be brought among the society of Bhakti yogis. Thus, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura has explained these words in a very interesting way as they can be interpreted from the side of Saraswati, the mother of learning. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So this translation and the purport by Srila Prabhupada explains how a non-devotee, especially with a demonic nature, looks or understands a devotee, right? Because they don't understand what is a pure devotional service. They don't even know how the devotees behave or their actions. Therefore, they think whatever they do is right. And unfortunately, the same kind of demonic nature is still continuing now also. We are seeing that. We are seeing that in our day-to-day activity. Because non-devotees feel that these devotees are very, what do you call, very soft-hearted. Soft-hearted is not a right word. Perhaps weak-hearted, right? That's what the non-devotees feel. Because these devotees are always, they talk very slowly, very humbly, weak-hearted. I don't know how can they survive, because a lot of parents, especially in today's world, they also have, when they see the devotee children, they have this question: your children are very, very humble. They're very soft-spoken. Do you think they can survive the competition? Do you think they can survive in the society, or when they get into jobs, into colleges? How do you think, right? Where is that ideas coming from, right? Who said devotees are weak-hearted and devotee children are weak-hearted? So this kind of nature is not new, Prabhuji and Mataji. It's coming from Satyayuga, the Hiranyakashipu's era, right? Where he felt that a great devotee like Prahlad Maharaj is the lowest of the mankind and disrupted of the family. And he thinks, Hiranyakashipu thinks he is right. Right? But as Prabhupada explains, a devotee does not care about whatever a non-devotee or a demon says. A devotee only takes instructions from Krishna. And Supreme Lord Krishna gives us an assurance, right, in Bhagavad Gita, that he will take care of our well-being. Yogakshema vahamyaham. Right? He is taking our responsibility that I will protect you. Right? I will make sure that whatever you have or whatever you lack will be taken care by me. Right? But only thing what you need to do is ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha parvipashyate. Always think of me and worship me. Right? Always render the devotional service unto me. And I will take care of you. So what is more assurance that we should have from the Lord, right? So we need to introspect ourselves. Should we really care about these useless discussions, useless talks, which happens, that devotees are weak-hearted, that children cannot do in the competition? Or should we just believe in the instruction of the Supreme Lord that he will take care of us, right? That is something non-devotees or this demon, right, they don't understand. People with the demonic natures, they will think that it's superstitious, but it is not. It's not, right? So Prahlad Maharaj, entire pastime or a life of Prahlad Maharaj is an example of it. How Krishna has taken care of him, right? Protected him throughout, right? And ultimately, what Prahlad Maharaj has become and what Hiranyakashipu has become, right? Hare Krishna. Yeah, 6. One of you want to read this?
Hare Krishna, can
Prabhuji,
you read?
can I?
Yes, yeah, you can.
Hare Krishna, can I read?
Yes, Prabhuji. You.
Translation. My son Prahalada, you rascal, you know that when I am angry, all the planets of the three worlds tremble, along with their chief rulers. By whose power has a rascal like you become so impudent that you appear fearless and overstep my power to rule you? Perfect. The relationship between a pure devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is extremely relishable. A devotee never claims to be very powerful himself. Instead, he fully surrenders to the lotus feet of Krishna, being confident that in all dangerous conditions, Krishna will protect his devotee. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita 9.31, Kaunteya pratijanehi me name bhakta pranishyati. O son of Kunti, declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. Lord requested Arjuna to declare this instead of declaring it himself, because sometimes Krishna changes his view, and therefore people might not believe him. Thus, Krishna asked Arjuna to declare that a devotee of the Lord is never vanquished. Hiranyakashipu was perplexed about how this 5-year-old boy could be so fearless that he did not care for the order of his very great and powerful father. A devotee cannot execute the order of anyone except the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the position of a devotee. Hiranyakashipu could understand that this boy must have been very powerful, since the boy did not heed his orders. Hiranyakashipu asked his son, Kim Balaha, how have you overcome my order? By whose strength have you done this?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So he himself, Hiranyakashipu himself was shocked, right? He's surprised that, how can this boy, a 5 years small boy, has no fear at all, right? Because he knows that he's not an ordinary demon. So powerful he was. And he himself says, all the 3 worlds tremble when I am angry, right? People will come on to their knees, even the great demigods. But you are standing fearless. And he's shocked. Where is this coming from? Because he knows who is the source of it. Right? See, basically, Hiranyakashipu never denied the existence of Vishnu. He did not. Right? Otherwise, why will he be behind him to kill him? That's what his agenda, one of the agendas always been, right? Because he killed his brother, Hiranyaksha. He searched him all over to kill. But it's not possible to find him. Right? And this poor fellow forgot that he's sitting in his own heart. Right? Anyway, so the Hiranyakashipu, though he was a demon, he never questioned or denied the existence of the Supreme Lord. Only thing is, because of a demonic nature, he went against the Supreme Lord. Right? He always believed that, yes, he's there. He's there. Right? Therefore, he knows that who is the source of, who is the source of that fearlessness coming from to Prahlad Maharaj. That's the reason he was asking, who is that? Right? Where is this coming from? Right? Sometimes, even when we talk to our children or anybody, right? Though we know, where is the source from, but we still ask them, where is this coming from? I know where is this coming from, something like that. So he's using this same strategy. And as Prabhupada explains, that source is coming from Krishna. Right? That fearlessness is coming from Krishna because Krishna declares that, Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhaktaha pranashyati. And he says, Arjuna, declare boldly to the world that my devotee will never, ever perish. Again, assurance from Supreme Lord. What else we need? He says, my devotee can never perish. I will protect them. And even in 18th chapter, 66 shloka, Krishna says, Mashuchaha. What is Mashuchaha means? Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshashyami Mashuchaha. Mashuchaha means do not fear. I will deliver you. Again, assurance from Supreme Lord. So when we have such kind of assurances from Supreme Lord, what is that we need to be scared of? Right? And Prahlad Maharaj has taken that very, very seriously. Right? And that is what, unfortunately, we all struggle. We all have faith, right? But that faith does not turn into practicality. Right? So, but Prahlad Maharaj, he's a pure devotee, of course. So he has 100% faith on Krishna. Right? And the faith he displayed at every aspect of his life. Right? Even a great demon, though he is his father, right? Standing in front of him and trembling with anger, ready to kill him. Even then, Prahlad Maharaj did not get bewildered. He was standing still there, right? And that attitude or that nature is coming from the Supreme Lord, that he has that faith that his Lord will protect him. Hare Krishna. Number 7.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, please.
Translation. Prahlad Maharaj said, my dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. He is not only your strength or mine. but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength. Without moving or not moving, superior or inferior, everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. This is confirmed by Prahlad Maharaja. If one sees extraordinary strength or power anywhere, it is derived from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To give an example, there are different grades of fire, but all of them derive heat and light from the sun. Similarly, all living entities, big or small, are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One's only duty is to surrender, for one is a servant and cannot independently attain the position of master. One can attain the position of master only by the mercy of the master, not independently. Unless one understands this philosophy, he is still a Muddha. In other words, he is not very intelligent.
It's
The
Muda.
Muddhas,
Muda.
the asses who don't have this intelligence cannot surrender into the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding the subordinate position of the living entity takes millions of births. But when one is actually wise, he surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Prahlada Maharaj was a great soul, a Mahatma, and before he completely surrendered onto the lotus feet of the Lord, he was confident that Krishna would give him protection under all circumstances.
Hare Krishna. So taking reference from Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, as Prahlad Maharaj also confirms here, that he is the source of everyone's strength. The same person is the source of my strength, is the source of yours also. And he's the source of Lord Brahma also, who has given you boons, basically. Right? And Krishna confirms this in 7th chapter. He says, Balam balavatam chaham, kama raga vivarchitam. So I am that strength in everyone. That strength is coming from me. Right? Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vitti partha sanatanam. Buddhir bhuddhi matam asmi tejasvinam aham. Right? That strength is coming from me. So I am the source of the strength for everyone. The same thing Prahlad Maharaj is reiterating here, whatever Bhagavad Gita says, right? The same person is strength of me, the strength of you also. And the strength of every living entity, whether it is moving or non-moving or superior or inferior or whatever it is, right? That's clear understanding. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, one of you can read this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shall I
Hare
read?
Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the supreme control and time factor, is the power of the senses, the power of the mind, the power of the body, and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the control of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it also. Purport. Since the material world is being moved by the three material modes, and since the Lord is their master, the Lord can create, maintain, and destroy the material world. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Again, lot of references from Bhagavad Gita. Here Prahlad Maharaj says he's a controller of the three modes of material nature. Bhagavad Gita in 9th chapter, Krishna says, Maya dikshena prakritesu etas characharam. Etunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. That, this entire material nature runs under my instructions. Right? And, again, he says he creates this cosmic manifestation, right? And annihilates it whenever he wants. Again, right? Bhagavad Gita, from 9th chapter, there are a lot of references on this. In 4th shloka, Krishna says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avastitaha. right? In my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them, right? And again, another reference from Bhagavad Gita 9.7, Sarva Bhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Mamikam Kalpakshaya Punastani Kalpadav Visarchami Aham. O son of Kunti, at the end of millennium, all material manifestations enter into my nature. And at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again and again. Right? 8th shloka, again from 9th chapter. Prakritim swamavastabhya visarjami punaha punaha. This, the whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again. And under my will, it is annihilated at the end. Right? So Prahlad Maharaj is clearly reiterating the teachings of the Supreme Lord. Right? And he has so much of faith. So all these things, what we are discussing, is what we see in Bhagavad Gita. Right? Hare Krishna. 9th shloka. Even of you read.
Just want to appreciate Prabhu. The slokas you recited in connection with this. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare.
Again, numbers చెప్పండి ఒకసారి. ఏం numbers అవి?
9.7, 9.8, 9.4 and 9.10, Prabhu.
Jai. Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, can I read this, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Prahlad Maharaja continued, My dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised towards everyone. Except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind, there is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly. Purport. Unless one is able to fix the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, the mind is impossible to control. As Arjuna says in Bhagavad Gita 6.34, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna paramati balavad dhridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayor iva saduksharam. For the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong, O Krishna, and to subdue it, it seems to me, is more difficult than controlling the wind. The only bona fide process for controlling the mind is to fix the mind by service to the Lord. We create enemies and friends according to the dictation of the mind, but actually there are no enemies and friends. Pandita Samadarshina, Samah Sarveshu Bhuteshu, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. To understand this is the preliminary condition for entering into the kingdom of devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada reiterates that a pure devotee will dispose everything with an equal vision. Right? He or she will not have any biased opinions on anyone. Right? Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Supakacha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. Right? In 6th chapter, Krishna says of Bhagavad Gita. Right? A Pandita, that means a learned scholar, will treat everybody or at least have an equal vision on everyone. Right? He will not discriminate. He will not be biased. Right? And 18th chapter also, in the 18th chapter, what Srila Prabhupada was referring to here, right? Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Krishna says, Brahma bhutaha prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. Right? Krishna talks about the characters of a pure devotee. Right? So in context to this particular verse, it is more relevant to talk about Samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. That means a person who renders a pure devotional service onto Krishna looks everybody equally. Samaha, sarveshu, bhuteshu. Samaha means equally. Sarveshu means all. Bhuteshu, living entities. So a person who is qualified to do a pure devotional service to Krishna will get into that platform where he will have a equal vision for every living entity and not biased. Right? Hare Krishna. Number 10. Yeah. One of you can read this.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, in the former times there were many fools like you who did not conquer the 6 enemies that steal away the wealth of the body. The fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all the enemies in all the 10 directions. But if a person is victorious over the 6 enemies and is equipoised towards all living entities, for him there is no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one in ignorance. Purport. In the material world, everyone thinks that he has conquered enemies, not understanding that his enemies were his uncontrolled mind and the 5 senses. Mana Manashashthyani Indriyani Prakristani Karishati. In this material world, everyone has become a servant of the senses. Originally, everyone is the servant of Krishna, but in ignorance, one forgets this, and thus one is engaged in service of Maya through lusty desires, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. Everyone is actually dependent on the reactions of material laws, but still one thinks himself independent and thinks that he has conquered all the directions. In conclusion, one who thinks that he has many enemies is an ignorant man, whereas one who is in Krishna consciousness knows that there is no enemies but those within oneself. Those within oneself, the uncontrolled mind and the senses. Correct.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Look at a devotee son talking to a demon father, right? He's giving him SSR 1 to 13, 1 to 12 sessions right here, right? He's telling him, right? Hiranyakashipu, right? Who himself declared that, he's a lord of the universe and all the worlds, the 3 worlds tremble. And devotee son who's just 5 years talking to his father and says that in former times there are many fools like you, right, who thought they have conquered the 6 enemies, but they could not, right? And they think that they can do all these things, right? Look at the guts, look at the fearlessness Prahlad Maharaj has, and look at the knowledge, understanding, realization he has, right? And that's exactly what Prabhupada is referring to here. In 15th chapter, Krishna says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhutaha Sanatanaha Manaha Sastran Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati, which means all of you, all the souls are part and parcel of me, my fragmental parts. But due to the contamination of the material world, they are struggling with the 6 senses, including mind and intelligence. That's what Krishna says, right? And that's exactly what Prahlad Maharaj is again reiterating here. Again, reference from Bhagavad Gita, right? So you think that you can conquer, but no. How can you conquer? The only way that you can conquer this Maya, right, is to surrender to Krishna, right? In 7th chapter, Krishna says, what is the sloka? Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metham tarantite. So it's not easy to cross my internal energy, which is called Maya. It's not easy at all. But with my help or my mercy on you, or by surrendering onto me, you can easily, he says, easily jump from one side to other, right, of this Maya. Hare Krishna. Number 11.
Shall I do it, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Something very interesting in this shloka, just see this. It says, Sri Hiranyakashipu Vacha. How can Hiranyakashipu be titled as Sri? Prabhupada gives interesting analogy of this at the end of this purport. We'll read it. Yes.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hiranyakashipu replied, "You rascal, you are trying to minimize my value, as if you were better than me at controlling the senses. This is over-intelligent. I can therefore understand that you desire to die at my hands, for this kind of nonsensical talk is indulged in by those about to die." Purport. It is said in Hitopadesha, Upadesho hi Markhanam Prakopayana Shante. If good instructions are given to a foolish person, he does not take advantage of them, but becomes more and more angry. Prahlada Maharaj's authorized instructions to his father were not accepted by Hiranyakashipu as truth. Instead, Hiranyakashipu became increasingly angry at his great son, who was a pure devotee. This kind of difficulty always exists when a devotee preaches Krishna consciousness to persons like Hiranyakashipu, who are interested in money and women. The word Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu refers to cushions or good bedding. Moreover, a father does not like to be instructed by his son, especially if the father is a demon. Prahlada Maharaj's Vaishnava preaching to his demoniac father was indirectly effective, for because of Hiranyakashipu's excessive jealousy of Krishna and his devotee, he was inviting Narsimhadeva to kill him very quickly. Thus, he was expediting his being killed by the Lord himself. Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he is described here by the added word Sri. Why? The answer is that fortunately he had such a great devotee son as Prahlada Maharaja. Thus, although he was a demon, he would attain salvation and return home back to Godhead.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So the word Sri, Prabhupada explains, right? It is because even though he is a demon, he had a great son, a devotee, pure devotee son, like Prahlad Maharaj. Therefore, he is eligible to attain salvation and return home to Godhead, right? So that's what, even our scriptures, a lot of other scriptures explain that, what is like having a devotee in home, right? It said that, when one becomes brahmachari and seriously attains sannyasa over a period of time, the 7 generations up ladder and the 7 generations down will all be, right, delivered. I heard this. I'm not sure from which scripture it is. If I'm wrong, somebody can correct me, right? But, that's what I heard from some of the lectures and seniors that, when one becomes a brahmachari and eventually takes sannyasa, this is what happens to 7 generations up and 7 generations down. Everybody in that family will get delivered, right? That's exactly what Prabhupada also reiterates here, right? Hare Krishna. Yeah, number 12. If you can read this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by Visit Swami Prabhupada ki jai. O most unfortunate Prahlada, you have always described a supreme being other than me, a supreme being who is above everything, who is the controller of everyone, and who is all pervading. But where is he? If he is everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? Purport. Demons sometimes declare to a devotee that they cannot accept the existence of God because they cannot see him. But what the demon does not know is stated by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.25. 7.25. Yeah. Naham prakasha sarvasya yoga mayasa mavrutaha. I am never manifest to the foolish and intelligent. For them, I am covered by yoga maya. The Lord is open to being seen by devotees, but non-devotees cannot see him. The qualification for seeing God is stated in Brahma Samhita 5.38. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena sandhas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. A devotee who has developed a genuine love for Krishna can always see him everywhere, whereas a demon, not having a clear understanding of the Supreme Lord, cannot see him. When Hiranyakasipu was threatening to kill Prahlad Maharaja, Prahlada certainly saw the column standing before him and his father. And he saw that the Lord was present in the pillar to encourage him not to fear his demonic father's words. The Lord was present to protect him. Hiranyakasipu marked Prahlada's observation and asked him, "Where is your God?" Prahlad Maharaja replied, "He is everywhere." Then Hiranyakasipu asked, "Why is he not in the pillar before me?" Thus, in all circumstances, the devotee can always see the Supreme Lord, whereas the non-devotees cannot. Prahlad Maharaja has here been addressed by his father as the most unfortunate. Hiranyakasipu thought himself extremely fortunate because he possessed the property of the universe. Prahlad Maharaja, his legitimate son, was to have inherited this vast property, but because of his impudence, he was going to die at his father's hands. Therefore, the demonic father considered Prahlada the most unfortunate because Prahlada would not be able to inherit his property. Hiranyakasipu did not know that Prahlad Maharaja was the most fortunate person within the three worlds because Prahlada was protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such are the misunderstandings of demons. They do not know that a devotee is protected by the Lord in all circumstances. Kaunteya prati janihi name sattaha pranishyati. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhupada explains the difference of how demons looks at God and how devotees looks at God here, right? And that's visible, very much visible in today's world also, because unfortunately in today's, at least in those days, demons were identified by their appearance, right? With the eyes, teeth out, big horns and all those things. Unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, demons doesn't appear like so, right? Demons are within us, right? There only thing how you can identify a demon is based on the quality, the character, right? Not by appearance. So therefore, demons can never accept the existence of God, right? And today they are named as atheists, right? Whatever, right? So that's the difference between how a non-devotee and a devotee looks at the God, right? Non-devotee, though the God is everywhere, they'll not be able to see because they only try to see the God with material eyes. But whereas devotee sees God with the spiritual eyes or a spiritual vision rather, not eyes, right? And that's exactly what, Bhagavad Gita gives the understanding that Krishna is everywhere. There are several verses in 7th chapter and 9th chapter where Krishna confirms that. Right? He says, Mattaha parataram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. So it is like I am like a thread who's holding the entire universe or cosmic manifestation, which are made of pearls. Right? So what happens if a thread is not there? Will the mala be good? Thread or flowers or whatever it is? No, Krishna is that thread. Right? He's everywhere. Right? Rasoham apatsu kaunteya prabhasmi sasishuryoho pranavaha sarva vedeshu shabdaha ke paurusham darsho. He says, I'm in your water that you're drinking. I'm in the light of a sun and moon. I'm everywhere. Right? And in 9th chapter, he says, Aham kraturaham yajnam swadaham aham aushadam mantroham aham evadyam aham agnir aham hutam. He says, I am that fire, I am that sacrifice, I am that medicine you are taking, who's reducing your fever, your disease, or whatever it is. Right? Pitamahasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara ruksama yajurevacha. I am the mother, I am the father, I am the pitamaha of the universe, I am the Om, right? I am the Vedas, I am everywhere. So a pure devotee who understands all these things sees God everywhere with a spiritual vision. But a material person, a non-devotee, even God is everywhere, they will not be able to understand because they want to see God only in a human form. But why? Why only in a human form? Right? And they want God to come and talk to them. Is it really? Is it necessary? We see sun every day, right? Does sun talk to us? No, right? Then why we believe that, God, if he exists, he should come and talk to us? Right? Even if God come and manifest himself in front of such kind of people, right? And they expect him to be manifested like Shankar Chakra Gada Padma, the way he manifests, right? Then also they will say, abhi time nahi hai, because they don't understand. Or somebody will ask, kaun si drama company se aaya ho bhai? Surabhi, hai? Because they don't understand. Even if really God comes and stands in front of them, they'll not be able to understand and recognize that he's God. Because they don't have that spiritual vision, unfortunately. Right? Hare Krishna. Number 13. Yeah. Can one of you read this?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Because you are speaking so much nonsense, I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipped God come to protect you. I want to see it or put. Demons always think that God that God, the God, the devotees is fictitious. They think that there is no God and that the so-called religious feelings of devotion to God is but an. Sorry, Guruji, I want to spit. Forgot my spits.
No problem.
Yeah. Devotion to God, but an opiate, a kind of illusion, like the illusion derivate and LSD derived from LSD and opium. Hiranyakashipu did not believe Prahalad Maharaj when Prahalad asserted that his Lord is present everywhere because Hiranyakashipu, as a typical demon, was convinced that there is no God and that no one could protect Prahalada. He felt encouraged to kill his son. He challenged that idea that the devotee is always protected by the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Again, demonic nature and activities are clearly explained in this one. Yeah.
So
Okay.
just now I pasted earlier you were asking about the scripture, right? It is there in the Bhagavata Purana and Garuda Purana, Prabhu.
Which one, Prabhu?
That 7 generations up and 7 generations
Okay.
down.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. I know it is there, but I was not sure where it is. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Translation. One of you read this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I read?
Yes, Mother, please.
Being obsessed with anger, Hiranyakashipu, who was very great in bodily strength, thus chastised his exalted devotee son Prahlada with harsh words. Cursing him again and again, Hiranyakashipu took up his sword, got up from his royal throne, and with great anger struck his first fist against the columns. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. 15.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Do it again. Yeah. Yeah. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound, which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. Oh my dear Yudhishthira, this sound reached even the abodes of the demigods like Lord Brahma, and when the demigods heard it, they thought, "Oh, now our planets are being destroyed." Purport. As we sometimes become very much afraid at the sound of the thunderbolt, perhaps thinking that our houses will be destroyed. The great demigods like Lord Brahma heard the thundering sound that came from the pillar in front of Hiranyakashipu.
Hare Krishna. So it explains the intensity on how Supreme Lord was appearing. He could not see, Hiranyakashipu could not see anything. He could just hear that sound. And that sound is like a powerful sound, like a thunderbolt, right? Just from that pillar. Yeah, the last verse. One of you read this, please. I will read this probably. Yeah. While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful tumultuous sound, which had never before been heard. Upon hearing the sound, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could find the origin of that sound in the assembly. Purport. Krishna explains himself by Rasoham apatsu kaunteya prabhasmi sasishuryaha pranavaha sarva vedeshu shabdahake paurusham nrishu. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am in the sound in either an ability in man, ether. Here the Lord exhibited his presence everywhere by the tumultuous sound in the sky, Shabdahake. The tumultuous thundering sound was proof of Lord's presence. The demons like Hiranyakashipu could now realize the supreme ruling power of Lord, and thus Hiranyakashipu became afraid. However, a powerful man, maybe he always fears the sound of thunderbolt. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu and all the demons who were his associates were extremely afraid because of the presence of the Supreme Lord in the form of sound, although they could not trace the source of the sound. Right? Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, as Prabhupada explains, Shabdahake, right? I am that sound, in the ether. So now this is the sound form of the Supreme Lord, which scared everyone in that assembly, even the great demons like Hiranyakashipu, because they have never heard that kind of sound before, right? And we will end this here. Tomorrow, perhaps, the next preacher will talk about how this...
Raghunandan Prabhu will be taking class.
Raghunandan Prabhu, Haribol. So Raghunandan Prabhu will explain how lack of time and also whatever I was ordered to talk has finished. Otherwise, I would like to finish this entire chapter of appearance of Lord Nrsingadev, right? I honestly don't want to stop here because I'm exactly stopping where Nrsingadev started appearing, right? This is just the pre-appearance aspects, right? So the actual story or the pastime is yet to come, right? It's a beautiful way how the Supreme Lord appears. I think I have explained this earlier in one of my sessions as well, but I would like to conclude by explaining words from Shodasha Bahu Narsingha Stotra, which explains the power of appearance of the Supreme Lord, Nrsingadev. Right? It says Bhukandam Varanandam Paravara Viratam Dampadam Paurodampam Dim 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 Dibimbam Dahamapi Dahamai Jampa Jampaischa Tulyas Tulyas Tulyaha Duma 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 Kaiha Kunkumankaiha Kumankaiha Etatte Purna Yukta Mahakara Patumam Narasimha. It explains, this verse explains how powerful the appearance of the Supreme Lord was, and the sounds, right, from everywhere, and the entire earth was shaken, it seems. The first verse of that Shodasha Bahu Narsingha Stotram explains this. Bhukandam Varanandam. And the sound is dim, 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 dibimbam. That is that the power of the appearance of Supreme Lord when he comes out of that column and jumps onto Hiranyakashipu. That's exactly what we see in Mayapur. I mean, when I'm talking, my hair, literally, my hair is standing, about the appearance of the Supreme Lord. Right. But anyway, I will not reveal that suspense. We'll have Raghunandan Prabhu explain that tomorrow. So we will conclude this session here. So before concluding, couple of takeaways, what I have from this first verse to 16th verse of this chapter. Beautiful chapter. So number one, the instructions of this our spiritual master is very, very important. And whoever follows the instruction of spiritual master and repeats that as it is will be successful in Krishna consciousness, and the preaching will be effective. There is nothing that we need to create. Everything is in place, right? Number two, any devotee who has complete faith in God will never be scared or fear or has any kind of fear of anyone, even of the great demons, because God gives us that protection, and he assures that I will give you that protection, right? Number three, a pure devotee will have an equal vision, a disposed equal vision on any of the living entities, whether they are movable, non-movable, superior or inferior, whatever it is. And that qualifies him to provide a pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord, right? So I would like to conclude this session with this. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I took a little bit of time more than given to me. And please forgive me if I have spoken anything wrong. Please correct me. There are a lot of seniors in this group. And there are any questions, probably, we will try to answer that few questions for a few minutes. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Enthusiastically చెప్పారు ప్రభు మీరు ప్రహ్లాద్ మహారాజ్ లాగా హరిబోల్.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much.
I was waiting for this Shodasha Bahu Nasim Stotram from you, because last time also you nicely recited it. You very nicely remembered it, Prabhu. Very nice. Yeah, as you said, it the hair stands up when you.
Goosebumps, Prabhuji. Goosebumps వస్తాయి ఆ షోడశ భావ స్తోత్రం వింటే.
ఎవరు రాశారు ప్రభుజీ అది?
అది ఐఎమ్ నాట్ శంకరాచార్య అనుకుంటా ప్రభుజీ, ఇఫ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ రాంగ్.
వాళ్ళ శంకరాయిట్స్ ప్రభు, విజయేంద్ర తీర్థ అని.
ఐఎమ్ నాట్ షూర్.
బట్ ఎనీవే ఇది వేరే వాళ్ళు రాసినా కూడా ఇట్ టాక్స్ అబౌట్ ద నరసింహస్వామిస్, how he is looking at it. Okay, somewhere we need to take from that. Haribol, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Praveen Prabhu, interrupting. Haribol.
No, Prabhuji. No.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, excellent class. You have beautifully explained overall the subject.
Thank
Hare
you. Thank
Krishna. You put that this sloka Prabhuji in group. You recite and put.
Shodacha Bhav Stotrama, Prabhuji? Oh, sure. I'll do that.
No, thank you so much, Prabhu. Dasraj
Thank you,
Prabhu. A
Hare
wonderful Mangalharti and wonderful class. Thank you. Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta
Namo
Koti
Namah.
Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai.